Tell me a bit about your career journey. How did you get to where you are today, let's say, sitting here?
I did my studies in Madrid, here in this university, my master and thesis as well, but in a different topic, not so much in quantum photonics, but it was more in nonlinear photonics, as well related to semiconductor materials. And then during my PhD, I had the chance to do a 6-month internship to go to work in the group of Pascal Senellart. And she offered me to stay there for a postdoc, which is what I did. I finished my PhD here, and then I went to work with her. Within the first year, I was very lucky to obtain a Marie Curie fellowship.
Nice.
So that enlarged my stay in her group. This was, by the way, since 2015 that I started my postdoc with her until 2019. And then after these 4 years and something, I decided to change a bit the type of research that I was doing, because it was very focused on semiconductor quantum dots. I was doing great physics. I was having super nice publications and collaborations. But I decided to change the material platform, and I decided to go to Germany to work on 2D materials with one of the experts in the field, with Professor Christian Schneider, where I have been working with for 2 years and a half. Initially, first in Würzburg in 2020, and then mid-2020 till 2022, we were working in Oldenburg.
Oldenburg, okay.
Yeah,
During
North
the
Germany.
pandemic, it was.
The move-in was in June 2020. We found the university empty.
Oh, wow.
It was a very strange time, but for some strange reasons, it was the most productive time in our lives, for something that I cannot really explain, because for some other people, it was completely the opposite. So it was a very fun moment, getting very new results using these 2D materials, knowing many other properties about quantum materials. And then in 2022, I was starting to feel like I had spent too much time abroad. In total, I think if you sum up everything, it's 8 years abroad.
That's quite a lot.
I think it's becoming the standards now for postdocs. No, it's not really true. But it was really long, and I had the chance to be back in Spain, and then I started to apply, and I have the opportunity with this Atracción de Talento. And here I am. I am on a tenure track at the moment, trying to keep my network of collaborations in Europe, and this initiative is also an opportunity to do. And just trying to get to know the students of the faculty for my group and do cool physics. That's it.
That sounds really cool. And also the international experience, and also changing your research focus a little bit, not stopping, of course, the semiconductor quantum dots, but also like the semiconductor materials, but also adding to it. I think that's what happens, right? The further you go in your career as a scientist, the wider your research scope can get.
Yeah, this is something that my PhD advisor, Professor Luis Viña, he recommended me to do for this internship during my PhD. He advised me to change the topic of what I was doing during my PhD to explore something else. And at the beginning, I was very scared, but it turned out to be one of the greatest that I ever had in my professional career.
Right.
And I think that changing physical platform is very important when you're shifting from PhD to postdoc, and also maybe sometimes between postdocs. But the shift has to be also clever. Doesn't make any sense that suddenly I'm doing quantum optics and then I'm going to do, I don't know, astrophysics. Maybe it could work for some very clever people, but could be too risky. But a bit of change, I think, is necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's also, I also heard the same thing, right? After my master's, and also when I was thinking about doing a PhD, it was similar. Or even after PhD, when I was contemplating if I want to do a postdoc or not. So I was also advised to either change the material or the techniques that I use for the characterization or application or whatsoever. Don't change the material and characterization, like everything else. Because I'm a material scientist, for me, the advice was more like that. So, but it sounds very similar.
Yeah.
That change a little bit, but it's like the calculated risk, so to say, that you take.
Also, very nice for me was to change country, right? In the end, it's just Europe.
Yeah.
So you are always close to your home. It's not like going to, I don't know, the States or Australia or, I don't know, China or any other place where you are real far away. But getting to know the different communities within each country, it has been so positive. And now these contacts remain, right?
Yeah.
So if you are thinking of going back to your country to establish your group, I think that nowadays is more required than ever to have pretty good international experience, get to know different communities, that they know you as well.
Yes.
And that so like in this way you can form these networks of collaboration. I think it's very important.
It's very important. I agree. I couldn't agree more. And it's also good to know that even you are still working with the groups, you're still collaborating with the groups
Absolutely.
that you worked at or you were exposed to. That is the heart of science, right? The collaboration and working together. So that's fantastic.
I hope you enjoyed this snippet. You can listen to the full episode by following the link in the show notes. And if you are not following Under the Microscope already, please make sure to hit that follow button. It's absolutely for free and it helps us grow the podcast even more. Thank you very much as always and see you in the next one.